Mhm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Khalil Doheny, and I'm Director of Content Marketing at Digital Niche Agency. Today, we have Tom Graham, CEO and founder of Life Imaging FLA. Tom, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Khalil. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. And this webinar is really for you, the investors, to get an update from Tom himself and
Yeah.
kind of just relive what happened in 2023 and just hear from Tom himself. Tom, before we get into things, you want to just kind of just give a opening statement to your investors here today.
Yeah, so it's good to be in front of everybody to have this conversation. We've had a tiger by the tail with the business. It's just been pretty much an up, a trajectory of business that we've done. I think once we get through with this seminar, everybody's going to feel real good about what we're going to show them and what we're going to see. You know, I have to accept, I have to take responsibility for the fact I have not been in touch with these investors as much as I would have liked to. I did send a couple updates out last year, but only a couple of them. And I want to start to do more of that because it's such exciting things that are happening. And I want everybody to be aware of it and be a part of it. So I'm glad to be here. And I've got DNA now that we've hired to do these monthly updates with and hopefully get everybody caught up on this good information and the excitement of what we do. It's amazing to be a part of a business that's doing so well and saving so many lives, which is what everybody, I think, embraced in the beginning, right? A lot of people that invested to do good on the planet. I came out almost out of retirement to do this when I found out it was even possible. And the journey has been so much more than I ever expected. So I'm glad to get this good information to everybody today.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to go through a whole presentation here, and that presentation is going to have updates of 2023 and really what we can expect for 2024. And
Mhm.
we're going to have some room at the end for some Q&A. So if you have a question for Tom, leave it in that chat box. We're going to make sure we have some room to answer your questions today. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll start with the presentation here.
Mhm.
Cool. Tom, can you see my screen?
I can. I can. Yep.
All right. So we're going to start with a little video here that Tom prepared for us. It's
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah, I thought this would be good for everybody to see. So, we've been marketing, we started out just on radio alone. And the radio response was overwhelming. I mean, um, I got to tell you, I hired a consultant to help with the marketing because I didn't know this market over here. Remember, I moved from Tampa Bay into South Florida because I found out this part of the United States, South Florida, Miami to West Palm Beach, is the eighth largest market in the U.S. There's 7 million people between Miami and West Palm Beach. And it's full of baby boomers, which are the people that we're after, right? It's all retirees down here. Where I'm going with that is this is a new commercial that we shot. We're going to start streaming TV, the Hulu, Disney, Netflix. You can get really honed in on IP addresses and phones and do a lot of good stuff with streaming. And this is a new commercial that we shot. I had to call some of the people that have life-saving events with us to come and shoot this. And what people don't know yet, and I'm going to talk about, is we've had on a weekly basis lives that are being saved every week, literally, where someone will walk into the office with some flowers whose life that we saved. I cannot keep up with them all. I started a wall of life in the lobby. We ran out of room on the wall immediately. I have books of life in the lobby. And so these are a few testimonials that I want people to be able to see that we just shot recently. We start streaming here in the next couple of weeks, but everything that we've done so far has just been on TV and radio. And what I was saying is the woman that I hired to do the marketing has been in this market for 30 years buying TV and radio. She's a buyer. She's an ad agency. And she's told me time and time again, the response blows her away. She said, Tom, I have never in my career seen a response to a campaign like this. I mean, we will air one of our we run a 30-minute infomercial on the weekends, and we run TV and radio during the week, shorter ones. But sometimes we run this 30-minute infomercial on a weekend, like after the evening news, we'll get 70, 80, 100 phone calls. It's just crazy. But I just wanted to mention that because this streaming is going to be new, and I think it's going to be a game changer for us. But importantly, too, on here are some great testimonials you can see.
What is this heart attack? could have been prevented.
Life imaging kept me from having a stroke and a heart attack and saved my life. It can save yours also.
At Life Imaging FLA, we offer life-saving technology that allows us to detect heart disease, cancer, and more. And now, with this special offer, you can get a free heart scan with a few minimum requirements. Just call pound 250 and say free heart scan. It's non-invasive, you keep your clothes on, and it takes just minutes.
We get you ahead of the two biggest killers of humans on the planet. We can find some cancers a decade ahead the size of a grain of rice. With heart disease, we can find early detections of coronary artery disease with 98% accuracy.
In January, I went for a free CT scan. I had 2 stents put in my heart. The cardiologist said that within 6 to 9 months, I would have had a stroke, died, or had a silent heart attack. Life imaging saved my life.
It seems like the conventional approach to medicine has it all backwards. They wait to diagnose and manage a disease after it's developed. Life imaging offers you an opportunity to look directly inside the body at what is going on under the surface. To get a free scan is a no-brainer. This is really the future of medicine happening now.
You never know what your true health is until you have a scan. Without it, I wouldn't have known. I had no symptoms, so I would have gone through life happy and then one day have a heart attack.
Take action now to receive your CT heart scan, a $699 value free with a few minimum requirements. Call pound 250 and say free heart scan.
Because of life imaging, I will be around to enjoy my grandson and watch him grow up. Thank you from the bottom of my now on its way to be healthy heart. Thanks for life imaging.
Life Imaging FLA. We scan for life.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, Tom, and I went to go visit you out there in Florida, and I got scanned. So it was
Yeah.
I went through the process. It's very easy, very simple, and it was very quick.
Yeah.
Of course, I was a little nervous going in, but
Mhm.
great to kind of just see the process and to find out nothing was wrong. So it's great to see that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we can provide peace of mind in those cases where, we don't see anything. And, I got some peace of mind. I lost both my parents to cancer is one of the reasons I came in this business. And when I found out you could even do this, it blew me away. And I didn't realize until I got scanned, how much it weighed on my brain. I'm a baby boomer, right? So, you go through when's it coming, when's it coming? Once I go through the process and all my organs come back, what's called unremarkable, nothing weird going on. What a relief, right? You get to go live your life now. You can come into our program and biannual screenings over the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years of screening, and nothing's going to sneak up on you. As we know, as we get older, that's when the wheels come off. And that's why we're after the baby boomers, because if I can keep you ahead of the two biggest killers on the planet, like I said, it's a bit of a no-brainer. And you can see just from those few testimonials how heartfelt it is. I mean, that day when they came to shoot you, you sit down with them and it's heartbreaking because, the doctors tell them we saved their lives, and it's incredible.
Yeah. And then Tom, I'm sure everyone who is here knows life imaging, but if you want to kind of just give a little more background of it.
Yeah. Well, normally someone doesn't get a CT scan until the doctor thinks something's wrong with them because medicine is reactive. Doctors are taught to be reactive, right? And insurance doesn't pay for it. People don't even know this kind of screening is even available because nobody does it. And that's the other thing about the business. It's pretty nice to be involved with something that's so unique. But I have to get the mission out. My mission is to get people educated. We got to provide as much information to people as we can to get them to come in. And as you can see in the marketing, we're giving away a free heart scan valued at $699. That's kind of the hook in the marketing. Remember, my background is marketing. I've been able to kind of, put marketing and health together, if you will. And, I'm on this mission to get in front of as many people as I can because, we started on radio. We did so well. We got so many calls. And then I thought, let's try TV a little bit. And we started doing a little bit of TV. And then I did a 30-minute infomercial. And then once that hit, we couldn't keep up. I literally had to hire a call center. But the idea behind this preventative screening, I have people that come in all the time that say, I've been trying to get my doctor to do this and he won't do it, because he says I'm healthy. And, and a lot of people come in and they're just so happy they can get this done because their doctor won't help them. And so it's been it's been really a nice journey seeing what we can do to give people some peace of mind or you know, be a part of saving someone's life. So
And Tom, can you talk about 2023? You know, 2023 seemed like it was a big year for you. So, you know, kind of just give an update to everyone.
yeah, well, as you can see here, you know, the growth between 21, 22, 23 is pretty outstanding. You know, we opened up, I think it was March of 21. And so it's like 8 or 9 months, and we did a little over $1 million. And keep in mind, that was during the damn pandemic. When I rented the building, the pandemic hit, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be the death of us." You know, it did delay us getting our equipment by 4 or 5 months to get the scanner in and installed. But, you know, in the end, it was a blessing because it made people more aware of their health and made people realize that you better take care of yourself. The government's not going to take care of you, right? And so we found this end result of the pandemic to be actually in our favor because people realize, you know, we better start watching ourselves and taking care of ourselves. So the first 8 or 9 months, we were able to do a little over $1 million. And then look what happened in 2022, almost $3.5 million. We increased by over 2 million in 1 year. So that came from when we first started, we had 3 employees. We had myself, we had Judy answering the phone, and Judy's now running our Orlando facility, and you had me here with 1 sales guy. Now we have 4 sales guys and 12 employees here. So we went 2021, 2022 to 3448, and then look at 2023. We opened Orlando. We opened the Orlando office in 2023. In the first 7 months, we did $1.5 million. I was able to really hit the ground running in Orlando based on our experience here. So we actually were able to go get the Orlando facility. We took 2 people from my office here to put them in Orlando, and we call them patient advocates. They're our salespeople. The patient advocates are the ones that see the people that come in. Remember, we give away free heart scans and we sell cancer screening. So when people come in, they can either opt into the cancer screening program. That's how we make a living, or they can get a free heart scan and go home. The good news is we're doing such a good job on the presentation and getting people educated about the fact you can even do this, that 60 or 70% of the people come through buy into our cancer program, where they buy a single scan or they buy 10 years or 3 years or 5 years of screening. But 60 to 70% of the people buy into the program. That's how this revenue is generated. And if you look at our reviews, the reviews are all good. Nobody comes in here and gets hit over the head to buy anything. We just simply tell them when they come in, they're going to be here an hour to an hour and a half. We make sure they come in with their spouses. We make sure people come in appropriately, they're age appropriate. And we let them know, once you sit down with the patient advocate, he'll go over all your questions, make sure you understand the process. We'll talk to you about our cancer screening program. And if you want to do it, it only takes a couple more minutes on the scanner. Remember, these scans are 6 or 7 minutes. But at any rate, the revenue is just, you know, unbelievable what we've done in terms of increasing the revenue. And then because of Orlando, the 1543, 988, and Deerfield this beach, almost 5 million. I think people may know that in the beginning I was talking about each office. I want each office doing 5 million in gross revenue. I think it could be 7 or 8, but I don't want to get into that right now. But I'm almost at the $5 million mark. And then 2023 over here, we see the total between both offices, 6,182,799. We plushed it by $2,700,000, almost $3 million, you know, simply from growing Deerfield and then opening the Orlando office. And remember, Orlando only started with 2 people. We're starting to see Orlando do $70,000 weeks, $80,000 weeks. We have 3 salespeople there now. We're getting ready to hire a 4th. Once we get a 4th salesperson in there, you know, our goal is to keep the revenue up at about 100,000 a week out of each office in gross revenue. But that growth, I think we're very proud of it. It's been amazing.
And then, Tom, can you talk about some of the highlights?
Yeah, well, listen, you know, the growth process has been so tremendous. You know, we've been able to organically bring the people in, you know, from the local community that we've hired inside of our office. We have, you know, people don't leave, but they like what we do so much. And this office is our own freestanding building. So we have our own space. We're not inside of an office or in a hospital. Keep in mind, when people come in, they're going to get embraced when they come in our office. I think you can read by some of the reviews. They tell you how beautiful the office is, how friendly the staff is. I mean, my receptionist, we're not a regular office, medical office, right? A lot of people that come to medical offices are sick and they have ailments. These people that come through are healthy and they want to stay healthy. And so we have this upbeat environment in our office, and it's just beautiful and people love it. And so, you know, the fact we've got this freestanding building, and I was able to find the same thing in Orlando. And to talk about that for a minute for the investors, you know, I was able to find existing imaging centers in both locations. If I had to build this thing out, it would be $500,000 or more. But I try to find existing imaging centers that are empty so we don't have to go build the space out. I was able to do it here. I was able to do it in Orlando, although we had to remodel Orlando because it was a 12-year-old center. And we had to do some work in there, but not near as much if I had to build a whole medical facility. So I think from now on, we're going to search in these markets as we open to find existing locations, so we don't have to spend extra money, you know, building it out and doing all those things that we do. The other good news is with this cash that we've been generating, we were able to organically go and open the Orlando office, right? We didn't go out to raise more money. We just organically used the cash that we had to go open the Orlando office. And we're going to use cash again to open the next office. And so next one of these that we do, I'll show a picture of our Orlando office in here too. I should have given you one, Khalil, but the Orlando office is beautiful too. And it's a freestanding building just like this one. So we have scanned over 20,000 people, and that's an amazing statement to make. In just, you know, a little over 2 years, 20,000 people have been scanned now between this facility and Orlando. Obviously, most of it's been here. I started going out and reaching out to some of the police departments and fire departments. I currently have a contract with Miami Beach Police. We're scanning all the officers there. We started last year with them. We got a contract, and then they just renewed the contract for this year. We impacted about 7 lives in Miami Beach Police Department. And, you know, it's kind of crazy, but one of the reasons they came to us, they saw the infomercial on TV, the woman that runs their health program, and she reached out to me. And then I went down to the Miami Beach Police Department and met with their committee one day. I took one of the people whose lives we saved with me, Karen. Karen's on our website on the homepage. We found a tumor in her lung. She's 58 years old, never smoked, no medications. And I took her with me, and I played the recording of her in front of the committee. And I said, and by the way, everybody, this is Karen. And she was sitting right next to me, and it blew them away. But when I went down there, they were telling me that their toughest SWAT guy in Miami Beach was in the department working out. And he was literally the most fit guy in the department. And he was working out in the precinct in the gym and had a massive heart attack and died on the floor in the gym. And that freaked them all out, because they said, if that guy can have a heart attack, any of us can have a heart attack, right? They had been going to Mount Sinai, getting sonograms of the carotids, getting blood work done. But from what they were telling me, that, you know, they were still losing guys left and right, and they lost faith in it. And so when they found out about what we did, I went down and did the presentation to them, and we got the contract, and they just renewed with me. And then I just recently got my local police department, Boca Raton Police Department, under contract, and we're scanning them. We're scanning hundreds of them. But what we do is we give them a discount. I just met with today, gentlemen from the fire departments here in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm going down on the 18th, which you can see here, to meet with their committee about doing the firefighters down in Fort Lauderdale. I'm also in close contact, and this is all stuff I've done just on the side on my own, because I really feel we need to reach out to the communities, because I can't get in front of everybody. I'm trying to get this message to as many people as I can. But, you know, once I got Miami Beach, I got a call from North Miami Beach. I got a call from, what was that other police department? Your husband, Miramar Police Department. Now I'm talking to Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. I'm talking to Broward County Sheriff's Office. They have 3,000 officers, you know, and I went down recently and spoke to Dade County Corrections Facility to do all the corrections officers. So I think there's a whole world out there that we need to go and be a part of. And so we're just getting started there. I've hired now a community outreach person to go out into the community. You know, you can imagine going into a big church and telling the pastor and his wife, come in and get a free scan. Let me show you what we do, because we can save lives in your church. And, you know, offer these free heart scans to everybody in the church. Have them come through, they'll buy into the program, and then we could even tie the little money back to the church if they buy from us, you know. there's lots of things you can do out in the community besides the TV, radio that we're doing. Believe me, we're driving a ton of traffic. You know, sometimes we'll scan 50 or 60 people in a day. But those departments are very exciting because I think it opens up a whole plethora of things that we can do outside of the norm, you know?
And Tom, we talked a little bit about this in the beginning,
Yeah.
just past challenges with communication to
Yeah.
investors.
Yeah.
But clearly, from what you just said, you haven't been silent. You've been working in the background. You've been, getting all this going. What can we see moving forward? Is there anything you wanted to mention to
Yeah. Well, listen, I did an update, and Start Engine for me was terribly difficult to navigate. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, but I did one update. I didn't know. Instead of going to the investors, it went to the followers. And then, I kept trying to do updates, and then getting into the system was a little difficult for me. It's not an excuse. But at the same time, I work every day, 10-hour days, and I'm busy, but there's no excuse. I want to make sure these investors get to be a part of this because this is exciting stuff. And I'm going to talk about where we're going next. It's going to be even more exciting, but I'm really enjoying what we're doing. I want everybody to enjoy and know they're a part of saving lives, and they're a part of growing a nice business. And it's a beautiful thing. As a matter of fact, I've had 4 or 5 investors come through because as part of the investment program, some of them earned free full body scans. And we've had 4 or 5 investors come through. Everybody loves the facility. They love what we're doing. And I would invite anybody that wants to come in and see the facility and at the very least get a free heart scan, but a lot of people that have qualified haven't come through yet. Come through and see the place. And what I've done is now hire Khalil and hire DNA Agency. They're the ones that help us raise the money in the beginning, and they're going to help us on this in 2024. They're going to keep everybody up to date, and they're going to keep me on point because I get distracted all over the place, and keep everybody in a good place in terms of these updates. Okay.
Yep. And we're gonna have more of these webinars. So, you can come hang out and get your questions answered and, just learn about what Tom and Life Imaging have been doing in the last, couple months or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so Tom, what about the future? What does 2024 hold for Life Imaging?
Yeah. So, right now my strategy is going to be to get, 4 or 5 of these company-owned stores going, right? I have a background in business opportunities and franchising from years ago when I used to be in the franchising industry. And, but I also know that for us to be able to get the attention of a joint venture or, a hedge fund or some big money, you have to prove the scalability. You got to open in a few different markets, right? So we've done Deerfield Beach. We're getting to a good point with the numbers in Deerfield. We're now in Orlando. So the next location I'm going to try to do, I think, is going to be Miami. And then I've got a guy that wants to do like a franchise deal with us in Jupiter. And I'm considering doing it because if we have 3 or 4 or 5 company-owned stores creating, whatever the number is, $4 or $5 million to the bottom line, we've just created a $25 million company with just these locations. And, it could even be bigger than that because in medical, instead of getting 4 or 5 times EBITDA, you can get 7 or 8 times EBITDA, 10 times EBITDA. Medical's a little bit different and the buyout can be bigger. But the idea is to create value inside of our company-owned stores. But at the same time, if I have 4 or 5 company-owned stores, I have 1 franchise store. Jupiter's just about an hour and a half, a little over an hour north of us. And I can be a part of it and help it and make sure it goes well. I've already talked to a big franchise organization that's chomping at the bit to get a hold of us, and they want to open these all over the country. But I got to prove the scalability with these locations in Florida first. And by doing different markets, we show that we can cookie cut this and put it just about anywhere. And this is one thing that I do well, is I really have the ability to go into the market, do site location, get the scanner in, hire the local help, bring them into our facilities and train the local help here. I was going to tell you in Orlando, before we opened, we started marketing about 2 or 3 weeks before I opened the door, and I had booked 80 appointments before we even got the door open. And so we were able to hit the ground running and generate 40, 50 grand a week very quickly right off the bat in that facility. And we can do the same in these other locations. The other thing that I need to do now that we've gone through the muckety muck and gone through all the trials and tribulations is to streamline the business to bring more to the bottom line to get the value up. And I've got a CPA firm now that's going to help me evaluate that a little bit better. I've been building a CRM for the last year, and it's been a big pain in the butt to build a CRM to manage the business because it creates enterprising value around our company with having a management system that manages the business, does all the reporting. We're ready to launch it finally after about a year of building this thing. And I don't know if everybody out there knows how these developers are, but they're no fun. And so we're trying to get this thing finished to build it out, to use it to help manage the business so I can get a more of an eyeball on, just where to spend the money better. With the marketing, we look at where we're getting our calls from and who's buying to try to go to the stations that are more producing, things that you would do to streamline the business. And, obviously our goal is to get over 10 million as quick as we can. I think I can get close to 10 million with these 2 locations we have. With a third one, we're probably, more between 10 and 15 million. It's about, ultimately it should be 4 to 5 million gross revenue out of each location. And I'm not going to settle for 4. It's got to be 5. Miami's a big part of the market. I didn't go there originally because I was a little afraid of the language. It's a lot of Spanish down there. So I'm going to have to pay to redo the commercials in Spanish. I got to make sure I have bilingual patient advocates, bilingual receptionists, bilingual office manager, but I can hire those people in Miami. Out of the 7 million people between Miami and West Palm, 4 or 5 million are in Miami. The rest are in Lauderdale and up north of West Palm Beach and north. It's not as many people, but we pull people out of Miami some, but primarily our business is coming out of Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and north up in Port St. Lucie, a little north. And we start marketing heavily, especially we start doing this streaming TV down in Miami. I think it's going to light it up. I cannot ignore that part of the market. I just can't do it. I have to get over the language barrier and just go. And that's what we're going to do is Miami next, and then this Jupiter location. And I might add, I do have a small group of doctors up in Palm Beach who knows the gentleman that wants to do the Jupiter store with us, and they want to invest some money in the business. And I'm considering taking some money in to do this quicker rather than do it all organically and not be able to grow as quickly as I'd like to. This whole industry is coming alive. We're on the front wave of it, and I don't want to get behind. Right now, I think we're leading it. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of Prenuvo, the company that Kim Kardashian. They do body scans with MRIs, which doesn't make any sense to me because you can't see anything in blockage in the arteries. It doesn't go through bone. It takes an hour and a half on the machine. But at the same time, we want to go while the going is good. We're kind of leading the pack, and there's no really anybody doing what we're doing. But they're going to come. So I may take on a little bit of money. I'm not going to go crazy, but enough to go maybe open some of these locations quicker rather than just grow them organically. But I'll keep you guys posted as I go along. I'm only going to do it if I can get a nice deal that doesn't, cost us too much.
All right. And so want to open it up for some Q&A. Tom, thank you so much for going through all of that. I know there's a lot going on, and that's why we're here, to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
So let's go through some of these questions.
Yeah.
How can you make any money when you give it away for free?
Because we give away the free heart scans. Remember, we give away heart scans. That's the hook in the marketing, and we sell cancer screening. But our cancer screening program is part of the proprietariness of what we do. We developed a way to make it affordable. And just so everybody understands, if your insurance company was to bill, if the hospital was to bill your insurance company for a full body scan, let's say that, somebody's sick and they go to get a full body meaning chest, pelvis, and abdomen, they would bill the insurance company $20,000 or so. It might be 18, it might be 22, but it's around $20,000. We charge $3,000 for a full body scan, which is way cheaper than the insurance companies will spend. But the problem is it's all cash pay. So I took it one step further, and we developed a program. It's called Preferred Care Alliance program, where people can buy into multiple years of screening. And the more scans you buy, the cheaper it gets. It gets it down to $400 or $500 a scan. But they're committed to 3, 5, 7 years of screening. So they pay for that up front. So we're able to generate the revenue from our Preferred Care Alliance program. Or if people buy a single scan, they're still spending, $900, $1,200, $1,500, sometimes $2,000, depending on what's affordable for them and what we can do in the presentation to get paid. And then that's how we make money, is through the cancer screening. And people love it. I mean, it's like a subscription model to preventative health, preventive screening of good health.
And
Yep.
what percent of customers find a serious issue?
It's about, listen, probably around 10% of the customers are going to find something serious, but a lot of times we'll find something that's not so serious, but it's something they need to pay attention to head off it becoming serious. Or the third scenario is they get a clean bill of health. We don't see any problems inside of the organs. This scanner is amazing. It creates a 3D image of the organ, and then it slices it up thinly and looks down inside the organ. That's how we're able to find stuff so far ahead. And it sees through bone. We can look through the bone. It's really incredible. We don't miss much. We can see the smallest of things. We see the smallest kidney stones. We see nodules on the lungs, anything on a kidney or a liver. It's just crazy.
And then how much do you charge for the cancer screening?
Well, like I said, the retail price is $3,000. It's $29.95. But we like to discount people in our presentation to get people to buy into the program. So sometimes we'll sell a single scan for $1,200, $900. My contract with the police department is $900 because they have hundreds of them. But, my average sale price in the program to people that buy into Preferred Care Alliance program is around $2,000.
And then how small of a blood clot would your scan identify?
Well, it would be more plaque than a blood clot in the heart. It sees calcified plaque inside of the arteries, the smallest of small. You couldn't imagine. We don't, like I said, we can see millimeter size stuff, very, very tiny stuff.
And it wouldn't be an investor update meeting without some investor related questions. Someone's asking, what is your exit strategy?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because my MO typically is to grow and sell. And right now the exit strategy is that rather than an IPO. And I've already got some attention from some major people that, like I said, are in the franchise industry. I'm not going to name the company, but they own big franchise companies currently. And I've already been in Zoom meetings with them because word's getting around about what we do and the fact that what we do, nobody does. And the fact that we're screening, I mean, we're so branded in this market. I can't, I'm on the commercials and I can't go out anywhere without people saying, hey, you're that guy on TV. We've done such a good job branding in South Florida. Everybody knows who we are. And so we're getting people coming out of the woodwork. I went to a show, we did a show it was we do these promotions out there to get people's awareness up. It was called Wheels, Wings, and Fashion. It was in a private jet company's hangar. And, it was all high-end people. So I went to this thing and then I came back and the next week, some guy shows up in my lobby and, he's here to see me. And I go out and talk to the guy and he said, yeah, I saw you at the show. And I go, oh, what do you do, Bill? And he goes, well, I'm in real estate. Turns out the guy's a billionaire. And the guy was all over me for like a month, but I'm not getting in bed with a billionaire. The guy could crush me. So I told him, I said, because he wanted to try to do something all over the country. And I'm like, I'm not Glenn. I'm not there yet. But the exit would be probably to grow and sell, or we could grow and sell a portion of it to somebody to take it nationwide. I could stay in the deal and be a part of it because I have a background in franchising. I'll stay in the deal as long as it takes, but I don't think it's going to be an IPO, but you never know.
And are we transitioning to a tradable stock holding?
Well, that would be through an IPO, right? Right now, you have the ability on the Start Engine platform to sell the stock, but you got to find somebody to buy it. It's not easy to trade. That's how these deals are. But right now, I'm not so sure. Without doing an IPO and getting on the stock exchange, we can't sell stock like that. You have the right to sell it, but it's not like that, right?
Yeah.
You can't just call your broker and tell them to liquidate. But listen, the idea is, this whole thing is the idea is to come along for the ride, right? As we grow and we get this business, I promise you, somebody's going to buy us. I don't know who and when and where, but it's not going to be, my goal is over the next 2 or 3 years, get in a position where we can get a nice offer and either cash out or sell a part of the business and stay on and then go along for the bigger ride for the national franchise program.
Yeah. And that kind of leads to the next question. Is there intent to provide a return to investors, return on investment?
Yeah, of course. We're not doing dividends yet. You don't do it this early in the game. You got to stay, you got to grow, you got to put money back in the business for the first at least 2 or 3 years, maybe longer. I don't know. But right now, the idea is to grow the business and create value. What we do with these locations is that's where the value gets created, and that's where you're going to get some return on your money. When we open these locations, we grow them, we get them healthy, and it only takes 3 4 or 5, if I have 5 locations in 5 markets, we're going to get a lot of attention.
And another question here. Why do you need a marketing company to market this investor meeting to ourselves?
Well, first of all, to help me with rounding all of you up and help me organize it and make sure I stay on point so I can do this with you guys more on a regular basis. And, you know, I'm sorry I wasn't doing more, but I promise you it wasn't, I thought about it. I did a couple of them and they were just me typing and writing. I think this is better when we can meet and see each other. Khalil can quarterback it and keep us on track for it. So I hope this works and keeps everybody happy. I hope everybody should be very pleased with what I showed them today and what we're doing. And feel free to come by anytime. I'd love to show you around.
Yeah. And then someone asked here, I missed the beginning. Are you on Start Engine or Forge Global?
Or no, we're through. We're not on Start Engine. We stopped raising money when we opened the first location. And by the way, you guys, I could have continued to raise money, but I chose not to because I didn't want to dilute us anymore. I wanted to keep it as healthy as I could. And so we stopped right away as soon as I got the first location open. And then, as we got this new location open, we started to generate some revenue. Then we used these funds to move into location 2. And that's the way we're going to do it. Unless we decide to go quicker than we thought, then we could in fact do it a little quicker.
And do investors get discounts on the scans?
Yeah, of course. If anybody wants to come down and get a scan that's an investor, I'll hook them up. No worries.
Awesome. And yeah, I'm not seeing any more questions coming in, Tom. If anyone has a last minute question, right now is the opportunity to ask it. With that being said, Tom, is there anything else you want to leave the investors with before you hop on?
Well, I just want to say to everybody, I hope this information I gave you today is encouraging. You're really a part of saving lives now. And when I tell you it's on a weekly basis, it's on a weekly basis. I'm overwhelmed by what's happened in the lives that we've saved and impacted. And keep in mind, you don't just impact their life, you impact the whole family. And on top of that, guess what? We're going to make some money. We're going to grow this business to a great business. And we're going to get this out to as many people around this state of Florida first and around the country. We want to get people to have the ability to do this anywhere they can in the country. I could go on and on about the fact that we could go in the country. I could go open this up anywhere in the world. Nobody does this anywhere in the world. It's crazy. So I hope everybody likes what they saw and heard today, and we'll keep you updated moving forward in 24 with Khalil and his group. And I look forward to more updates in the near future.
Yeah, it seems like we got a couple more questions that just came in. Let's just get them real quick.
Sure.
Have you gathered any information on people who have had the mRNA jabs versus those who have not?
The what?
The
MRI? The MRI?
mRNA.
I don't know what that.
I'm assuming
COVID?
I'm assuming it's the COVID vaccine. Yeah.
Have we gathered any information on it? Well, I tell you what we do see is a lot of scarring on lungs. We'll have somebody come through and see some scarring on a lung, and I other than that, I don't really know. We don't get into it with them unless they're talking about it. But we'll see it and go, hey, did you have COVID? And they'll say, yeah, we see it on the scan, some scarring on the lungs.
And can we buy more shares as a current shareholder?
Not at this time. It's not available currently. That may change as we grow, but for now, there's nothing available at this time. Sorry to say. So I'm glad you got in. Everybody that got in, I'm so happy for you.
Yep. And the last question that I see here is any plans to come to the Florida West Coast in the near future?
A facility on the West Coast?
Florida West Coast in the near future.
Yeah. Naples, maybe Sarasota. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, Tom, thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to update investors. And thank you everyone who joined the webinar today. And if you wanted to relive this whole webinar, don't worry, we're going to be posting this whole replay on the Start Engine page. So
and thanks for helping, Khalil. I really needed to do this, and I again apologize for not doing more of it, but I promise we'll keep you guys informed moving forward. And like I said, please, anybody wants to come down and go through and get a scan, come see us, please.
Thank you.
All right, bye now. Thank you.
Bye-bye.